Good morning, bro at Nam. How are you doing today, folks? Fans of the game, fans of Magic the Gathering. If it's all the same, let's gather here today on the Bro Show. You know, we've got a bit of a show for you folks this morning. Carcinogens here. Astrid Media, MTG Gaming Bob. Twiddler's in the house. Benson. Mighty fine group we have here today. Thank you. Thank you once again for bringing back Wednesdays, hump days. Yes. Make Wednesdays the best day of the week. Why not? Why are Sundays better than Wednesdays? Because Wednesday is a weekday. And what do camels do? What do camels sing on karaoke night? I'll let you guys figure it out. Robert O'Brien's here. It's good to be up and moving. Dual Brains in the house. Hi guys, popping in to say hi before the road. How's it going, Brody? Really good. Holy smokes. Making some progress here this morning. Brain, I got some cards. Got some AI generated. Not AI generated. These are Brody generated magic cards. I got a couple of previews for you folks here today. Card previews. We're going to talk standard this morning. Standard is changing. We got a couple different. Man, I've been working on these. It's turning out. Couple soldier tokens. Couple of new altar cards. Just got some color going on the tokens. Got some color on the tokens here. This one's actually turned out pretty okay. It's kind of hard to see with this camera, but I also have a surprise for you, Dual Brain, for all the fans and friends of Dual Brain's channel. I got some more art here. Brody shop in the food aisle. Things are looking pretty good. I got like a couple more to go. This one I'm just working on last night. The clue token. The clue tokens. So we're making progress in the day. Greetings, all you amazing fans of Magic the Gathering who love the game as much as we do. Thanks again for tuning in, my friends, family. It's great to be here, and I want to discuss what's happening in the world of Magic the Gathering with you. All are welcome here on the channel. Do you guys like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much gall darn information? Let me do it for you. I'm doing it each and every day here on the morning show with me, the bro, the D. It's good to be here on the moon with you folks today. But before we get started, let's warm up just a little bit. Make sure the chops are working, the dinger's working, and everything that works here on the show. Let's get out the bugs this morning. Grab a cup of coffee. I know I'm going to. Yes. Grab a cup of coffee, no matter where you are. Thanks for dragging Brody along for the ride. Whether you got me on the dash of the car, next to the coffee pot, you got me in your back pocket, you got me sitting on the dash on your way to the laboratory, or maybe into the workplace. Wherever you got Brody dragging with you this morning, I want to thank you for joining me. Let's check out some AI-generated magic cards this morning. I know your time is valuable, and you do not have time to waste. If the card is playable, any which way whatsoever, even if it's a little bit overcosted, costs a few too much mana, even if it's got extra mechanics on it that don't really bode well for a magic card, you'll hear this sound. I said you'll hear this sound. All right, that's better. It's working. I knew it. If the card's got any gibberish on it whatsoever, if it's a stinker, if it's a bomber, it says no way playable. If it's got word salad written all over it, you'll hear this sound, the sound of the buzzing cousin. Let's do it. Cause it's Wednesday, May the 10th. Thanks for joining me. Let's look at some AI generated magic cards here this morning. Repair of the dragon. Let's repair that dragon. You need to up the volume of the sound effect. Should we up it? Let's get it up full the way up to 11. Let's make sure that's working just right. Okay. More dings? Let's bring it up. That should be right up there where we want to be. Up where the air is clear. Take me once you get me up there where the air is clear. We'll be looking at some AI generated magic cards where the air is near, and then we're going to get onto some movers and shakers. That's some perfect volume for the dinging. That's some good dinging. All right. I don't know, my phone autocorrects I to O and U to I. It's very annoying. I need to up the volume. I know when that happens. The autocorrect, right? Anybody hear what's news in the world? What's going on today? This live stream is the best. Oh, you're so kind. It's the perfect sound for the dinger. Ding it all day long. All right. Who's a singer? Who's a dinger? Twiddler's in the house. Carcinogens here. We can do the show. Repair of the Dragons. I hope you guys got a chance to look at this beauty of a card here this morning with me. 1 green and 1 for an instant speed. It says, destroy all of them. Poof. What? Destroy all of them. And then it's got transmute for 1 green and 1. Discard this card to draw a card. Just destroy all of them. Destroy all of them. I was watching Guardians of the Galaxy replay last night. And I think y'all know where I'm going with this. There's a scene in the movie where he snaps his fingers and everything goes. The sounds good today, Twiddler. Let's get rid of this one. I don't like it. Sounds like these guys are protesting in Pakistan. Let's get them out of here. Fair, unplayable, word salad. Unplayable. OP. Let's take a look at this island. The islands are usually good. What's going on in the world today? Amazing news all over the place. Let's talk about it. What's going on in the world of finance, magic cards? This island, I like it. I like these. Let's just double check to make sure they're not sneaking any extra land types on there. Let's give that a ding. A ding, a beautiful. Oh, look at this card. I wish Super Fast Tortoise was here. This is a great card. Look at the art on this sucker. Tangle Form. Wow, I like this one. Tangle Form costs you a white and 3 for this enchantment turtle. It doesn't have power and toughness, but it could. Oh, it's so clear. Such cool art on it. Let's see here. Haste, Grandeur. Discard another card named Tangle Form. Take an extra turn after this one. Wow. This is busted. It's got no power and toughness on it. So I think I'm hovering over the buzzer here because this, is this done with GPT or DALL-E? I don't know, some call me 3. This is done on the Robo Rosewater site. So what they do is they conglomerate all the submissions via the generator. Then they screen them for the ones that don't make sense, and then they put the remaining ones that make the cut here up on the Robo Rosewater site. This one's let's get it out of here. Let's fail it. It needs power and I like power and toughness on my turtles, and I like them to be wearing a belt and have nunchucks, a bow staff, and perhaps be hanging around with a rat named Splinter. It could be better. Super Fast Tortoise, this one's for you. Okay, I'll give it a ding just for you, Super Fast, but it doesn't have the parts that we need. It should be like a 4/4 or something. Let's move it on to the Pride's Demise. This will be Richie Dubs in the house, the man of hilarity over at the Richie Dubs channel. What up, everybody? We hit 7 Shocklands last night on the... Oh, wow. Fire in them hills. Where are we going to move the comments to? Maybe I could put the comments up here for now. I've been trying to think of a new place to put the comments. Pride's Demise cost you a black, and 2 for an instant. It says, if a forest and a merfolk you control, you gain 3 life. No. Do better. This is really tough. Fair, unplayable, word salad. A word salad. Let's give it some word salad. Just give us one decent AI-generated magic card.
Yoda wrote this card. Angelic Covenant it is. A 2/4 for a red and 3.
No, this one's langed. Doable spells you cast cost 1 less. Is this spell at all doable? What do you think? Is it a doable spell? Richie Does says, I'm making a fan channel called Medium Speed Frog. Sacrificing a creature, you are. Langed, I don't know what langed is, but a doable spell you cast costs 1 less. Any doable spell slingers out there? Anybody? Angelic, we're running into trouble here this morning. The plains. Let's take a look at this plains and just back up to the island we looked at earlier, because I think they're trying to pull a fast one on us. Here's the art for the plains. And then here's the art for the island. It's the same doggone art. What are they trying to pull here? Aren't they? This is the same art. They just put plains on it. And then they changed the color a little bit. I don't even know if they changed the color. Let's see. Plains. Let's take a snip. Let's put them side by side. The snipping tool. That's a good tool we haven't used already. Brody's tool. Let's go. New snip. Let's bring it up. Snip this one. Snip it in the bud. All right. Where's this? I think they're just recycling art now. Let's put these two next to each other. Ha ha. Yes. See what they've done here? They try to trick us. The AI is trying to trick us. Don't be fooled. Do your own research. They're definitely recycling it. Yesterday was a plains, today an island. This AI is thinking it's smarter than the average bear. Ho 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 ho, bro. I think I see myself a magic card packy. A magic card pack. Ha ha ha, Brody. Time capsule. Thanks for joining. Good morning, bro at Nam. Mr. DJ Longhair's in the house. Good time. These are your AI generated magic cards here this morning. It's interesting to see. I want to give a shout out to everybody for tuning in here this morning on the Bro Show. I got some news articles for you folks today. Do you like tracking the prices of magic cards? Have you listened to the news on Magic the Gathering here this morning? Is there enough information out there, or is there just too much information? Let me go over some of the rules here with you folks this morning before we get into your... Then we're going to get into your movers and their shakers real quick here. Robert O'Brien. May the 10th, 2023. Let's pile into some stock desk news articles here in the world of Magic the Gathering. There's been a major change in standard. If you haven't heard it yet, you'll hear it here first, because by the time the weekend comes around and other people are making their videos, it's already too late. The news as it's happening. Standard is changing. What? What do you mean it's changing, Brody? Let's talk about it. The rules changes to standard and the rotation period for cards in standard. It's all getting revitalized and changing. So we're going to just cover that this morning with an article here by Aaron Forsyth. I want to read this one with you because it seems very interesting. The article's called Revitalizing Standard, and Standard isn't as long, but let's grab a sip of coffee before we get into this news article. We cover it Thursday. Woot, number 9. Yes! Oh, smash those like buttons. Smashez, frappez le bouton, as they say en français. Frappez le bouton, donnez-moi le thumbs up, and let's get into this article here. We're revitalizing Standard with Brody Alphonso here on the morning show with Twiddler in the house and all the friends and the folks. Standard's long and has been vital to thriving local game stores. I think this is cute. Regular play and robust competitive tabletop scene, local metagames, and that cheeky, friendly, competitive edge is infused into so many local game stores that when Standard struggles, stores take note. You think? Oh my, this is like Wizards of the Coast The pot calling the kettle black, I guess that, I don't know. It's like, I didn't think you guys cared. But even in the context of Magic, going leaps and bounds, over the past few years, tabletop hasn't kept pace. Commander has grown tremendously. More and more players enjoy Pioneer and Modern, and Standard seems more play on Magic the Gathering Arena every day than individual games in other formats. That's because the digital to online format is the preferred way to get into your wallet without any hidden strings. Concerns us when tabletop Standard gets left behind despite Magic's tremendous growth. Time to time, again and again, we've heard from players and local game store owners that they believe a healthy, well-liked, well-attended Standard is still incredibly important to their experience and the success. Lately, we've been doing more asking and listening to assess how we can help Standard. This guy just has got something to say. Aaron Forsyth. Maybe it's time to like get rid of some of the old fuddy-duddies in the Wizard staff and like get some new folks in there. Because this guy's been there for a long time. Maybe. That's just my opinion. But this guy's still chiming in on the Twitter like there's like a bunch of this symbol clashing and oh yes, we love it's like they're not paying attention. This is the level of contention is making my mouth dry up. I need a sip of coffee. Over the past few years, Standard has dried up in many stores, and I have my own list of possible reasons, but I'd love to hear from you about your store and your community. Why has sanctioned Standard play declined relative to other formats? We've been, another guy who starts his sentences with a conjunction. We've been putting together plans to do just that. It helps Standard is once again gaining traction and a fun format showcased in Pro Tour March of the Machine this weekend. But we also need to take a more public commitment to Standard and competitive tabletop Magic, such as we'll be rolling out the multifaceted plans over the next coming months. Today is step 1. That step is that we're going to extend the life cycle of all cards in Standard by a full year, starting with the current Standard environment. Sets will rotate out every 3 years rather than every 2. This means that with the release of Wilds of Eldraine, there will be no Standard rotation for this year only. What? Are you folks happy about this? Does this make sense? Let me know in the chat here. He said we're going to ask you, what do you think about the Standard 3-year rotation? Is it good for the game, or is it Wizards really listening to the players? Are they listening? Do you like it? I kind of like it. Give me some comments in the comments section below. What do you think about Standard going to a 3-year rotation? You think it's a good idea or not a good idea? Is this Wizards in fact listening to... See, this is what people say when they're not listening. This is what they say. They tell you they're listening. This is what people say. It's like me coming on the morning show this morning and being like, folks, I've listened to you viewers. We're going to be doing the morning show in the afternoon. I know you want it. I asked, you told me, and everybody's sitting there going, nobody asked me. Did anybody ask me? I didn't. Maybe I missed that question. I don't know. Well, who are these people that were asked? We don't know, but it's just it's a nicety. Because the intent with this change is not to overshadow any of the amazing growth for Commander, Pioneer, Modern, and other formats, as seen in recent years, but instead will give players more reasons to engage with Standard, extending the life cycle rotation to 3 years. We believe, El Belivo, that achieves 2 main points and additional benefits that can make tabletop Standard more enjoyable. How about you lower the cost of the packs, and how about you put the good cards in draft boosters, not just in collector boosters? Oh, I'm sorry, that's not here. This will give current standard cards more longevity. Time and again, we'll hear that players want to play with their cards they loved and enjoy longer. Standard is our only rotating format, and while keeping it fresh is important, we also feel that there's a more effective middle ground. Magic the Gathering, where fresh is the taste. As fresh as this cup of coffee that's been sitting on my desk for 3 years. All right, what else will it do here for us? It'll allow mechanics and archetypes to be more effectively built on over time. As we move away from the block model, we gain a lot of flexibility, but we also lost some ability to build on mechanics and themes within a set. With a longer window, we can find more opportunities to build up or revitalize archetypes, coupled with the point above that can lead to more diversity, longer lasting archetypes, and enough competitive churn to keep players engaged. They're like, no, we're going to give you a break on your wallet. How about hosting digital tournaments at a local game store? It could be good, right? Except, like, for example, Nothing Watsy does make sense. Its video killed the radio star yet again. Like, does anybody remember Energy? Right? When they had, like, what happens when there's a bad mechanic like Energy, or Wizards makes like some parasitical mechanic, and then all of a sudden we're not just stuck with it, because a lot of people were like, that's okay, Energy's gonna rotate soon enough, it'll be out of the format. But now when they make a mistake, we're gonna be tied to it for an extra year, right? What happens then? There's pros and cons. It gives us a stronger tools to create an environment where decks are more colors and mechanic, like green-white toxic or blue-white soldiers, and less mid-range. With a larger card pool, from the format can handle bigger swings and the entire decks seated at once. We believe this will give Standard more stability, more vitality, and strengthen it for the local game stores. Stability, vitality, and all those things that we bring to you folks on the morning show here today. It's almost like Aaron's tuning in. Check out the show, Aaron. Maybe you want to hear from some viewers. You can join us. Our attention towards improving Standard experience won't be ending here. To help ensure Standard thrives at local game stores, we'll be rolling out a multi-step plan to support and revitalize Standard tabletop play. While later steps are still in the planning stages, we felt it was important to share this change as early as possible. One of our plans around the rotation were locked into place. The rest of the plan is currently undergoing iteration, and it will roll out as we finalize it. Oh, I promise you, there's more plans and plans on plans. They're rolling and rolling out, and we'll be rolling them out while we work on what we work on. We'll be wanting to hear more from you. Tweet us at Play or Wizards Magic. Join our Discord discussion and come share your thoughts during a future episode of Weekly MTG on May the 16th. How do you like it? If you want to share your thoughts and your comments, you can only share them at approved sites where they will take your thoughts and comments. Better not post anything bad on Reddit, or they will effectively ban you. So let's keep it clean in the comment section. And if you know what I mean, I want to talk to you folks just a little bit here more this morning. What else have we got for you folks here today? I know it's a good day it's a Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. Why did a man have an uninviting face in the office? Because it was his Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday face? What's Thanos' favorite holiday? Ash Wednesday. Ooh, that's quite appropriate. And what kind of bread do you eat on a Wednesday? I guess it's humpernickel? Could be. All right, you know what that sound is. You've got you moving and you shaking in your seat. This is the place where we track the prices of Magic cards. Where's the money, Brody? I think it's down here somewhere. Give me a second, I'll look for it. Where's the money, Brody? I think it's down here somewhere. Just give me one more second, I'll try and find it. Nope, it's not down there. Let's look at the popper list today here. Thanks for joining us, folks. We're talking stocks, we're talking magic cards, we're talking finance, we're looking at the movers. These are your movers and your shakers for Wednesday, May the 10th. We're looking at popper to see what's changing. Is this 3-year rotation gonna affect the prices of magic cards? Are we gonna get more longevity in the prices for cards that are in standard before they just crash and hit the dirt? It could be a good thing. Are you tired of like $25 or $30 standard cards just going to nothing, like Carnage Tyrant? Perhaps this is a way to get just a little bit more fun into your collection, maybe. We'll see what it's going to do in the long term. It should be interesting, to say the least. Let's get into these movers and these shakers here this morning. Mystic Sanctuary come at the top of the list here this morning. Mystic Sanctuary, the common card. Be aware of the common card, folks. The Mystic Sanctuary. All the poppers. There's a lot of money in popper, actually. It's quite interesting and good. Popper force. Some people say that popper forces you to be a little bit more creative and competitive with your magic decks because all the cards are in common. Right now, Arena killed paper standard. Duh. Who wants the money, Lebowski, or we'll kill. Don't steal my rug. That's all I can say, right? It really ties the room together. There's a card that ties the room together. Mystic Sanctuary. Thrown up. Thanks for getting. I'm glad somebody got the big Lebowski reference here this morning. Love it. Benson, how you doing? I was looking at this card, Mystic Sanctuary. Too bad it got banned in a lot of places. Banned in, where are we here? Modern? Banned. Banned in Modern. This card, you can't play it in Modern. It's too darn good because it does too many infinite things. This was such a good gland in the Throne of Eldraine cycle. This is what happens, Larry. All right, where's the money? Is it in the Mystic Sanctuary? Not if you're playing it in Modern. Unfortunately, there's no money in this card if it's in. This card would have been a banger. This card would have been a banger, Brody, if it wasn't banned in Modern. It's good card. This is good cardboard right here. I can smell it through the monitor. Taps for blue, counts as an island. It enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 3 or more other islands. When Mystic Sanctuary enters the battlefield tapped, you may put target instance or sorcery from your graveyard on top of your library. So places Cryptic Command Lock is a real thing in Modern with this. It is. It's what Tommy Siddons is talking about, right? It is. It's just too good with Cryptic Command. Because Cryptic Command is the card. It's like, let's look at we got to look at the Cryptic here, right? It was this card. I mean, that and Time Warp. I mean, I didn't think it was so bad. Like, as a turns player, I missed this card. Like, as somebody who was playing Time Warp over and over again, like, Mystic Sanctuary just won you the game. If you had a Howling Mine in play and a card draw engine, something that allowed you to draw more than one card, the Cryptic Command with Time Warp is just GG's if you can do it, because you just get to take all the extra turns and play all the magic. But here we go. Nevertheless, let's check this one out. Cryptic Command says choose 2. It costs you 3 blue and 1. You can counter target spell, return a permanent to owner's hand, tap all creatures your opponents control, and draw a card. You can just loop this over and over again with the Mystic Sanctuary. At least you could have. Now, if you want to loop cards with Mystic Sanctuary in an abusive fashion, you've got to do it in Commander, because it's the probability is a lot lower for you to hit this combo in the 99. They cut off Mystics Johnson. They did. Some call me Tim. Good morning, buddy. Essence Warden. Let's take a look at this card. This is like Soul Warden, but it's Essence Warden. $4.32. It's an Elf Shaman, a 1/1 for green. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. And there was even a Phyrexian one that we looked at just the other day. It drains. It costs you 1 white and 1. What was that one? Stitcher. This is like Soul Warden. Is this Soul Warden? Is this like Soul Warden? Similar. Yes, whenever another creature comes into play, you gain 1 life. $4.32 for the Essence Shaman. Soul Warden, most expensive copy. $3 from the Battle Royale box set. $20 for the 10th edition foil. So how much is this Essence Warden? This reminds me of Chronicles of... Is it Chronicles of Narnia? No, it's... It reminds me of the show when they're taking the essence out of the dark crystal, right? They're like the essence, and they got those creepy little dudes that are taking the essence. Out of the poor little guys. This card, Essence Warden, where are we playing this here? Is it really played in Pauper? It's legal in all formats. It's not banned anywhere. It doesn't seem too overpowered. Let's look at the chart on the Essence Warden. Here's a card that's been going sideways since 2021. Let's grab Brody's pen here. Just put a line on this chart here. Boof. Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting to see here. Pretty tame chart. Right? It was 2021. It took a pump up in price and then just dipped down a little bit. Now it's been running east to west for some time. Suture Priest. Thank you, Bob. We talked about it the other day. Suture Priest. That's the one. Thank you. Gaming Bob. Suture Priest. Here's a good card. You want to gain some life? I think this is also a common. Expensive commons. New Phyrexia. $2 for this one. Right? If you're going to be playing the Soul Warden, the Essence Warden, why not get yourself some Suture Priest? Right? MTG Gaming Bob. Thank you. It's early, and we're doing some Magic stocks and talks. So we got this... Other options in the life gaining deck, you got the Suture Priest. This one is expensive though. Look at the price. Where's the foil? New Phyrexia foil of Suture Priest, $32. Probably a decent card. And they didn't reprint it. Funny enough though, out of all the cards that you would thought they March of the Machine Commander, they reprinted Suture Priest in the March of the Machine Commander. At common, and they didn't even shift it. So you can get this in the commander deck. Another way to get this in the commander deck. So as they're talking about extending the longevity of standard, on the one hand, we're printing more commander decks, and Wizards of the Coast is even giving commander decks a chance at local game store competitiveness, like we read yesterday. Essence Warden, where are we playing this? Dina Soul Steeper. Yawgmoth. Elves. Of course, Elves will be playing this. Birchmoor Rangers from Onslaught. Tap 2 elves you control, add a mana of any color. Findhorn elves, yes. Spera Sentinel, Elf Rogues, Llanowar Elves, Nettle Sentinel, Quirion Ranger, Elvish Vanguard, Mass Vandal, Priest of Titania, Vine Chipper Prodigy, Timber Watch Elf, and this one, Lys Alana Huntmaster. This is a really cool card. Whenever you cast an elf spell, you may create a 1/1 elf warrior creature token. So this works really well. Really well if you're gaining life, especially with the Essence Warden. So there's a couple of texts for you. Imagine being a new player and trying to decide between the 65 plus commander decks that have come out in the last year. Very difficult to do. Mutagenic Growth. Here's a card that's taking a 3% uptick in price to $3.60. This one's pretty cool because it got Phyrexia mana on it. All these this is like the Jetaxian Probe version of a card in green. Jetaxian Probe was too good because it drew a card. And let's just take a look at this card for a second. This card, and any card that costs just a lowly Phyrexian mana, and a lot of people were surprised to see that they brought back Phyrexian mana simply because cards like Jetaxian Probe and this one, I think will always get people turning up to try and break them. So Jetaxian Probe, a lot of people I talked to when I was sort of exploring because I didn't open any and I didn't play during the first Phyrexia and the new Phyrexia. So a card like this was already banned before I sort of stepped back into playing Standard and Magic again. I believe Jetaxian Probe is Pauper banned. It is. It's super banned. This one's banned. Absolutely, it's banned. So this is the card that people were once upon a time saying Wizards will never go back to Phyrexian mana because it's broken because of this card here. This is actually this and Mental Misstep. If you wanna, I want to look at Mental Misstep for a second because this is the other blue one, right? So we got the Mental Misstep for 1 blue Phyrexia, counter target spell with converted mana cost 1. So in competitive Legacy. And I know we're playing Pauper, but this is an uncommon. This was a card where people would just play it in their deck and then just try and, if they didn't win the gambling that you would just lose the draw and your opponent tried to play a 1-drop, it would just be like whoever had the Mental Misstep would essentially come out on top, and whoever had a Mental Misstep to counter their opponent's Mental Misstep, because you could, it just changed the way the game worked, because now everybody's playing spells on turn 0 with Phyrexian mana, including Jetaxian Probe. And this is a card that just essentially between Mental Misstep and Jetaxian Probe, it was cards that took your total deck count from 60 cards down to 56 and then down to 52, because 8 of them are these cards that you just play for 0 mana. Mutagenic Growth never got a ban hammer because it's just not as busted. It doesn't draw you a card. It's really close to being that busted because, like, what's next? What's next for 1 mana Phyrexian spells? You got this one that goes to play with Infect, definitely. Let's see where folks are playing it. This one costs you a green. You can play it for a green or 2 life. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. It's an instant. And there's plenty of ways to put this on back on top of your library from the graveyard, especially in an Infect deck. Let's take it. How many printings did we get of this? This thing will get printed a few more times. New Phyrexia version is $15 for the foil. The cheapest one is the regular one. Modern Masters $25. And Modern Masters 2015. So we didn't get a reprint on Mutagenic Growth in the new Phyrexia, which is like causing this sucker just to hold its price a little bit. Let's pull the chart back. A bit of a rocky chart for this one, if you ask me. Seeing a bump up in price around Cons, taking a pickup at around Dominaria, dropping down in about Ikoria, and then back up again. This is like when Infect decks start to run rampant and like have some more support. Whenever you see an Infect deck sort of make moves in the metagame, especially on top 8, if Infect is getting more support, this is a card that's always going to move up with it because, of course, what it does for you. Decks running it, mono blue Fairies? Ah, yes. Another thing about Phyrexian mana is that it can go in any deck. Mono blue can run it, even though it's a green card. Except, I guess you can't hit your colored pips in Commander. So that's too bad. Mono blue Fairies running it. Ninjas of the Deep Hours, Spell Stutter Sprite, Moon Circuit Hacker, Fairy Seer, Fairy Miscreant, Brine Barrow Intruder. But that's not where we see it. Where's the Kiln Fiend deck? Of course, Kiln Fiend would be playing it. And Infect, Burn, Infect. This is the, I guess Kiln Fiend is probably more of a Pauper deck, isn't it? Kiln Fiend? Yes. Let's look at Kiln Fiend. Porcelain Legionnaire is cool too. Noxious Revival, yes. Murray Cooper, how you doing this morning, buddy? I hope you're doing well out in the world today. I don't think they'll ever make another 1 mana Phyrexian spell again, unless it is to gain 5 life to splash, and almost all are broken. Porcelain Legionnaire. Let's look at this one from Benson. Porcelain Legionnaire from New Phyrexia. Is this a 1 mana Phyrexia? Okay. I like it. A 3/1 common first striker. It's decent for a common. It's also a soldier. So soldier tribal. No more 1 mana Phyrexian spells, right? So like that's what happens. When so like with the 3 rotation, like could you imagine if like, this is just saying, oh, everything being perfect and we're not going to make any mistakes again. If we get another Noxious Revival is 1 mana. It is. It's almost a Savannah Lions. 3-1, first strike? Yeah, I guess it's 2 mana for 2 colorless for a 3-1 first striker. Porcelain Legionnaire. It's also common. Where are we playing it? Elish Norn, Commander, Elish Norn, and Elish Norn. All the Elish Norns are playing it. What's this worth? $17 for the foil. Kind of an expensive card. Let's look at Mutagenic Growth. Sorry, Noxious Revival. Noxious Revival is definitely an obnoxious card. No. Very funny, Brody. Here's a card that works well with Mutagenic Growth. Noxious Revival. This costs 0 mana or a green or a Phyrexian. You could pay life for it. Another 1 mana Phyrexian spell. This one got a reprinting in the list because it was so fair and balanced. Phyrexia all will be 1 commander. Also got a reprint of Noxious Revival. And other than that, the new Phyrexia foil is worth $82. It's uncommon, so you can't play it in Pauper, so it's not super relevant for our show here today. But as far as 1 mana instance that you can play Phyrexian mana for, this one puts target card from a graveyard on top of its owner's library. And we're talking about Infect. Where's the Infect deck? Where's the Infect? Excel, Squee, Hollowvine, Rashmi, Ragavan, a Dredge, Attractive Prayer, Mono Green Tron. Okay, a lot of decks using it, but if you could play the Infect deck, you want Mutagenic Growth, Noxious Revival, put it back on top, then you have a cantrip that allows you to draw a card and cast it again. Good things can happen, especially in Pauper when you're playing this Kiln Fiend deck. Kiln Fiend deck. Pretty good card. I never did play Kiln Fiend. I played against it a bunch, but whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, Kiln Fiend gets 3-0 until end of turn. Along with the Monastery Swift Spear. Was this downshifted? Yes, it was. It was printed as an uncommon. Where's the original? Swift Spear. Secret Lair is $15. Khans of Tarkir. Yeah, it was downshifted. Buggers, eh? They downshifted the Monastery Swift Spear. In Double Masters. That's what they did. Monastery Swift Spear. Prowess, though. The Prowess trigger is really good. Get to Amplifier. 1-2 with Kicker and a Human Wizard. When it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return another creature an opponent controls to owner's hand. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery, get 2 gets +2 +0. It gets 2. Get 2 gets 2. I didn't know you were talking about commons. Join the stream late. All good. We're just checking the we're doing the movers and the shakers today, Murray. It's all good. We're just so Monday we do Modern, Tuesday we do Pioneer, Wednesday Pauper, Thursday Legacy, and Friday we do a full recap. We look at the all list and everything that's moved and shaked throughout the week. And then Monday we'll also do a recap on your weekly winners from the previous week. A mountain. Is this mountain here? We were looking at Regisaur Alpha yesterday. Regisaur Alpha? Reggie. Right? We were looking at Reggie yesterday from Ixalan. Oh, Reggie's a rare. So Reggie was moving. Reggie made his way on the list yesterday. Rapid Vigor. Here's a card I don't even know what it does. I'm excited to look at this one. From Future Sight. Okay, how much does it cost to wrap ourselves in some Vigor? In foil, we can drape ourselves in some royal foil. Rapid Vigor here this morning for $8. What does it do? What did we get us? OG foils have high attrition and every scratch and finger oil degrades it rapidly. Okay. Good discussion here. We got some see, I'm not a foil connoisseur myself. I have a few foils. I've just been starting to get into foils over the last couple of years because I'm trying to like cherry pick some fun cards out of some of the older sets like Lorwyn, Shadowmoor, and even some Mercadian Mass foils, blocks where foils were actually a thing. Because now what's happening with foils is, like, in my opinion, is that there's so many foils. People don't realize that the OG foils, where foils were actually rare, a lot of new players are overlooking them because they think foil is just it's just another variant. But back when foils weren't treated as a reproductive variant, like Ristic Study and Days, these folks are dual brains spitting some foil knowledge in the chat center. Foils just have a new aggregate around them these days. People look at foils differently than they did 5 or 10 years ago because now everything is shiny. But let's look at this Wrap in Vigor. Regenerate each creature you control. Where are you running this, Murray? Murray Cooper says Wrapped in Vigor is in all my green EDH decks. Anything green. This is a common. It's $1.24 or $8 for the foil. It's let's look at the chart on it. When was the last time this thing got a printing? It hasn't got Conspiracy. So Conspiracy, another set that had wacky mechanics, which introduced the Monarch. Very cool. Future Sight foil, and now we're getting the Ring Tempest-You. So there's a few more different, like, conspiracy cards. I know it's going to be a snowball's chance. There'd be a snowball's chance in summer of Wizards reprinting the conspiracy cards outside of a conspiracy set. But the ones that create the Monarch, pretty cool. Here, this is all EDH. Finn the Fangbearer, of course. Lathril, the Blade of Elves. Raga Draga, Gorgut's Boss. Raga Draga. Just a name like Raga Draga. I have to look at it. Galta? Oh my gosh. Galta as your commander. Why not? Let's go. Raga Draga, Gorguts. This card will beat the Gorguts out of you. Raga Draga. Human Boar. Oh, that's right. This is the Boar. I seem to remember this would go well with the Riot. Yes. Each creature you control with a mana ability gets +2/+2. Oh, wow. Whatever creature you control with a mana ability attacks, untap it, and whenever you cast a spell, if at least 7 mana was spent to cast it, untap target creature and put 7. It gets +7/+7 and trample till end of turn. Raga Draga. This thing's good, especially with mana dorks. Allosaurus Shepherd. Yeah. It's good. Mana. Birds of Paradise. Yeah, that becomes a 3. Yeah. A 2/3. Birds of Paradise becomes a 2/3 with the Raga Draga. Boreal Druid. Yes. All these 1-drops become 3/3s. Goodness gracious, me oh my. No wonder people want to Wrap in Vigor. What do we got in the art here? Just out of curiosity, we've got an elf hanging out under the roots of some trees here. Why isn't Raga Draga a dragon? Missed opportunity. He's a boar. It's a piggy. I don't know. The interest for Silver Age foils is increasing. I want to get me some Silver Age foils. All right. Desert. Oh, Desert was reprinted? Desert was reprinted and time shifted. Interesting. So an Arabian Nights card? Yes, originally printed in Arabian Nights. Here's an interesting card. Desert taps for a colorless. You can tap it to, it's a common, tap it. Desert deals 1 damage to target attacking creature. Activate only during the end of combat step. This is actually a really good card for a common because it can finish off an attacker. It can also kill like a Thalia or any 1 power or 1 toughness. Work time. See you later. It's okay to disagree, you guys. Be nice to one another. Share a Slurpee. Make sure you get some time to hang out and be friends. All good. Spirited debate. It's spirited. I like it. I like a good spirited debate myself, too. This is a show where I get to talk of magic, stocks, prices, finance, share my thoughts and opinions, and you folks can, too. It's good spirited debate here this morning. Except for that guy that was on the other day, there was a bot in here. He didn't have any spirited debate. He was just hurling insults and had to ban him. So that was good. I'm so proud of the folks wielding their wrenches mightily on this channel. It was good to see somebody actually, Prime 406, crushing those bots in the chat. Robert's Table. I haven't seen a true near mint Ristic foil in 15 years. They get clouded way easily. Tough to get some of that Ristic foil action, isn't it? But let's talk about this desert. As far as a common card, I'm really surprised it was reprinted so many times and has never really taken off because it kills 1 toughness creatures. It's on the list. It's an Arabian Nights card. There's actually a few cards like Desert Nomads who got protection from deserts. I think this is cute. The Desert Nomads from Arabian Nights, also a common. Desert Walk. Here's a card with Desert Walk. And I hate to say this, folks, but I think folks are sleeping on this card. This foil desert, Brody. There's not many minty copies left. I think, okay, just FYI, here's a good card. Desert Nomads. Why do I like it? Because when we went back to Amonkhet and we were dealing with the deserts and the pharaohs, that was a really cool set. Amonkhet. Deserts came back. We had Ramanap and Ramanak Excavator and all the deserty guys. And then there was all of a sudden some relevance on the Desert Nomads because we got more deserts. We got a Ramanap Ruins as a desert, right? And this guy has damage. Desert Nomads are immune to damage done by deserts. Also a Christopher Rush art. Really cool art on the Desert Nomads. And the many moons in behind them, 1993 card art, really cool card, collectible at least. 3 mana for a 2/2 with Desert Walk. And if you're done with the main course, it's time for dessert with Galvanic Blast. Little bit of Galvanic Blast for your past. A blast from the past. Gotta drop the banhammer. Stuff like Tim in foil, right? Time-shifted foils are awesome. All right, let's take a look at this one, Galvanic Blast. Where are we playing this? This common card. Well, I know I saw it. I've lost to this card many a times, especially in like a Metalcraft deck or Affinity. This is sort of a card that just puts you closer within range of death. If you're ever sitting down against an Affinity player who's playing like Mox Opals and the Signal Pest, Springleaf Drum, Ornithopter, Steel Overseer, and then you start seeing all these cheap Affinity artifacts come out onto the battlefield, and you think, it's okay, I'm at 8 life. You're like in double blast range, right? Galvanic Blast deals 2 damage to any target. If you've got Metalcraft, which is 3 or more artifacts, it does 4. So all they really do is try and get you down to like 8 and then double Galvanic Blast you to the face. Legal in every format. It's not banned anywhere. Let's see the chart on this one here. Let's pull back the chart. It's actually up quite a bit to $2.40 from the mystery booster. Scars of Mirrodin foil is $11. We didn't get a Galvanic Blast reprint in the new Phyrexia, but we did get it in Double Masters and uncommon. So it was upshifted from common to uncommon. $4.50 for the Galvi Blast. Nice looking chart on this thing. I think Brody might have been sleeping on this, thinking, it's just uncommon. But there's definitely a couple of bucks here. You could probably get a few copies from a few bucks from the vendor store and a buy list if you're looking. How's the buy listing going? I haven't done a lot of buy listing sorting lately. I've just been kind of sitting tight, doing some alt art, doing some art cards lately. Affinity's playing it. Burns playing it. Let's look at Pauper Affinity. This is 5th place, 7-0 Pauper Challenge. Kark Clan Shaman. Sack an artifact, deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. Kenku Artificer. When it enters the battlefield, put 3+1/+1 counters on it. Up to on target non-creature artifact. That artifact becomes a 0/0 homunculus. until with flying, so you can get Hugh Monk. Michael Superbacker made it. Michael got hosed with the early work days. I was chatting with him on text or on chat in the comments. I hear you, Michael. Sometimes they make you take one for the team. I appreciate you taking one for the team, pushing more than your weight. It's part of the way it goes sometimes in the world. Sometimes you got to pick up the slack. Sometimes stuff happens at work. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure people appreciate it. I know you're out there doing the best that you can. The working man for the working man, just like Brody, Alphonso, doing the best that I can to bring you guys a little bit of discussion, trying to get the conversation going, right? It's like I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines and seeing everybody have stuff to say about Magic. So we got to get involved. We got to get our conversation going. We're growing the channel. Going to do some amazing things here over the next couple of years. Michael Superbacker. FYI, thank yous went out last week. They did. I shipped the thank yous out. Was it Monday? I think all the thank yous went out on Monday. So you have a thank you heading towards your place there, Michael Superbacker. FYI. Benson, your thank you went in the mail. So did yours, DJ Longhair and Johan Matuzzi. We got one all headed all the way to Sweden. So those thank yous went out last Monday. So it's going to be a couple of weeks, but your thank you is on the way. So just let me know when it shows up. It's a race to see who gets there first. Maybe Michael Superbackers will head swiftly all the way to Boston. All right. Yeah, buddy. I have 6 of everything on order. Thinking of cutting it in half. What do you got at 6 of everything on order? Ooh. Very unimpressed by Aftermath. Ooh, the Aftermath. All right, let's check this out. Galvanic Blast. Have we seen enough of it? Do we know what it does? It blows your face up for 4. It's like an extra lightning bolt, right? Common. Ghostly Flicker. I want to take a look at this card because then we get to something from the original Mirrodin block. This one is blue and 2 for an instant that says exile 2 artifacts. 2 of them. Exile 2 target artifacts, creatures, and or lands you control. Then return those cards to the battlefield under your control. It's like an ephemerate, but it does 2, and it's in blue. So this is kind of an interesting card for Flicker. I bet you it's in an ephemerate deck. It's a common. 2017. Costs $4.57 for the foil. Kaldheim Commander Avacyn Restored. There we go. That's the original. Avacyn. From the original Avacyn block. Why is this card being a pain in the Avacyn? We're talking about after. See you chumps at the finish line. Love you. No problem. Michael Superbacker. I hope the size is okay. Personally, wouldn't go deep, but due to leaks and how meh the set is, see a double feature effect where it's valuable due to lack of a supply. Where are we using Ghostly Flicker? Let's take a look at the chart on this. How many reprintings did we get? Wow, it's like kind of at an all-time high right now. Yes, it is. This card is higher than it's ever been. For a common, there's gold in them hills. Don't say there's not. Keep your eye out for clutch commons, right? Let's get Brody's pencil here. We're going to switch colors. Let's use the beautiful Lelogram. Yeah, Ghostly Flicker. And then like a really aggressive spike up in price here right at the end. Ghostly Flicker. Flickering its way up onto your movers and the shakers this morning, folks. I think it's quite a card. Familiars. Oh, is this the one? Please tell me. No, it doesn't have the owl in it. But Familiars. Godpharaoh's Faithful. List of cards playing it. Godpharaoh's Faithful. 1 mana human wizard. Whenever you cast a blue, black, or red spell, gain a life. Dawnbringer Cleric. When it enters, choose 1. You gain 2, destroy an enchantment, or exile target card from a graveyard. Sunscape Familiars. This one, green and blue spells you control cost 1 to play, less to play. Sage Road Denizen. Whenever another blue creature enters the battlefield under your control, target player puts the top 2 cards of his or her library into the graveyard. So some mill action with this Vidalcan Wizard. Seagate Oracle. Seagate Oracle enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the other on the bottom. This card's good. So Seagate Oracle, when you flicker these. Archaeomancer. Here's another great card. When it enters the battlefield, return target Interstory Seed card from your graveyard to your hand. So you can can you flicker this and then just get your... Yes, I think you can. It's got Ghostly Flicker. I think you could just flicker the Archaeomancer and then get your Ghostly Flicker back and then do it again if you want to. Why not? Snap, return target creature to owner's hand, untap up to 2 lands. This is good. The snap is free. You get a rebate on it of untapping 2 lands. If it's like a... I don't see why this isn't played in like Twiddlestorm. Right? It untaps 2 lands. You can bounce a thing and then make some mana and then untap lands again, make more. You can net 1 mana off of Lotus Field. I have to do a little deeper analysis on this card. Ghostly Flicker. Decent card for Modern Masters. Tree of Tales. Ah, yes, the artifact lands. The artifact lands are always decent. Check out Cloud Shift. It's a good option to blink. Let's check out Cloud Shift. Masters 25. I think this is also a common. Yes. Exile target creature you control, then return that card to the battlefield under your control. Like Ephemerate, right? The Coiling Oracle and the little snakes that enter and put lands onto the battlefield. Exile creature you control, then return to the battlefield under its owner control. This one has Rebound. I guess that's why the Ephemerate is more favored. But then you exile it, right? So you can't... Cloud Shift, you can return it to your hand with art. It's even got good art on it. Cloud Shift, you can return it to your hand with like cards like the Archaeomancer. The Rebound mechanic seems good. And Ephemerate... Let's look at Momentary Blink. Momentary Blink from Double Masters. Another $17 common. Oh yeah, this is like the one with the... Is that a Pegasus? Pegasus bird? Like, look at the art on this thing. It's like a half bird, half horse. Exile target creature you control and return to the battlefield under its owner's control. You can flash this one back. This is 2. Momentarily blinking. Just gonna blink real quickly here for you folks. Tree of Tales. These artifact lands were actually so good they're banned in like... They're banned in Modern. That's where it's banned. I thought they were banned. I think they're all banned. Johan Matuzzi, you're back. Tire season is over. All good, you guys. Yes, Johan. Your thank you went out just the other day on Monday. I was just saying thank yous went out, and I got one going all the way to Sweden because Johan Matuzzi. We got viewers. I was so happy when I went to the store or to the post office, and I was sending out thank yous for you guys. I sent one out for Johan Matuzzi, Michael Superbacker, Mr. DJ Longhair, and Benson. And it was so cool because like there's people from all over the world. I was like, I've never shipped anything to Sweden before, but I'm gonna do it. And like me and the lady at the post office were like, she's like, this one's they're going all over the place. So your Brody teas are in the mail, and a little something extra for you guys in there just to say thanks for all your support, peace, love, and happiness, joining me on the morning show and tuning in. I appreciate it. What do you folks think about the standard 3-year rotation? No, it's not a great idea. Some people think it's not a great idea. Holy smokes. I thought a lot of people would be more apt to say that it is a good idea. Why isn't it a good idea? Just give me some reason and rationale behind that. I'd kind of like to know, because the only thing I can sort of see is if they make a play mistake, or if they make a set that sucks, or if they make a set that's underpowered, or a set that nobody likes to play, or a set that's like degenerate, like energy, then we're gonna be stuck with it for 3 years instead of 2. But what do you folks? What do you think? Griffs, That's a griff. Ah, it's a griff. We were looking at a griff. Momentary blink. Tree of Tales. I want to just comment on this one. This common artifact land. These are banned in Modern because, like, with Modern Affinity, I don't know if people need a deeper card pool for Standard. It's supposed to be limited. And the other thing too is, like, with the blocks kind of go hand in hand. Like, I guess what we used to get, we'd get 2 sets in a block, right? Blocks like Kaladesh and Aether Revolt, and like you get like Amon Cat and the other one. Just drawing a blank here this morning. You'd get the 2 sets. Hour of Devastation, right? They'd be in a block. A block would be 2 sets, and then, like, if you were lucky, the next block that came out would have some support for the cards in the previous block, and some mechanics would rotate out and then you wouldn't see them again. But it's very unlikely that you're gonna, well, unless they start designing them that way, unless this has been sort of a plan. It all depends if this has been a game design plan for some time coming, or if this is a reaction to something that Wizards is seeing going on in the game. If it's a reaction, then there's probably not a lot that game development can do as far as making sure that all 3 years of Standard blocks have support that tie into one another. I don't think that that's likely going to happen, but it may prove for some interesting interactions. There may be no support whatsoever in the 3rd year for the first year that was in there, depending on game designer's prerogative, but it does give a deeper card pool. Tray of Tales. This card was really good because in Modern Affinity, it would give you like 2 mana, essentially, because it's an artifact land and it taps for mana and it enters tap. So these were really good. So good that they had to ban them in Modern. But that doesn't mean that you can't play them in Legacy, Vintage, Commander, or even Pauper. Pauper legal. This card is. And here's the thing for you. I don't see. Here's another. Okay, the list. These were printed on the list. Okay, Plane Chase. They were printed in Plane Chase. Mirrored in foils. All right. So I think myself, whenever I see some of these artifact lands that are on sale for fairly cheap, $1 or so, I like to pick some of them up because myself, I like to play Painter Servant and I like to play Goblin Welder in Legacy. It's a really good sack outlet for Goblin Welder because it taps for mana and it also counts as an artifact, so you can sack it to Goblin Welder and you can bring back whatever you throw in the bin that's hopefully a lot better than just a land. This is a card worth picking up if you haven't, like, for long term. If you're a player, like Brody's a guy who likes to build decks and like never run out of jank. Never run out of jank. I repeat, Brody never wants to run out of jank. So if a new card gets printed and you're like, hey, that would be really jank with XYZ kind of a deck. Oh, there's a new target for Goblin Welder that I just can't wait to reanimate. I want to go and grab my set of Great Furnaces, which are the artifact lands for red, and put it together in my Legacy deck and have some fun with it. I don't want to be looking for them. So it's a good, if you ever think you're going to be playing Legacy, these are $1. If you ever think, hey, one day I'm going to be getting into Legacy, and look at the chart on these, going back to January 14th, pretty cheap investment to get some fun into your collection for these artifact lands. Legal in Commander as well, so you can use these as a sack outlet. You can welder with these. In Commander, you can use them as a sack and artifact to go search for an artifact ability. These are decent options. They make mana. If you don't have your combo piece enabler online, you can always just sit them on the battlefield and play them just like a land. Decks using it, all types of Commander decks here. Rashmi Ragavan, Urtan Remnant Memnar, Babala Saga. I love that name. Tommy Siddons, we're going to go for some Babala Saga. And some Pasquito and Gabagool. Give me a Babala Saga sandwich and some Gabagool and a side order of Pasquito to go. I think Sander is suffering right now. Good comment here. Standard's been turned into Pioneer Light. Standard is suffering right now. I mean, they're making 4 times the product, so the current standard is 4 times as deep as it was in 17. That's a good point. So what you're saying, Dual Brain, is that the fact that Wizards is printing so many more sets, a 2-year period for standard, is actually like 4 times as many cards as there was in 2017. So like now there's so many cards. Yeah, like it's crazy. They have to move it to 3 years because in order for people to get into standard and stay in it, there's so many new sets coming out in a 1 and 2 year period. So standard is already deep. It's just that they don't stay in rotation long enough, so they had to increase it. Interesting. That's another good way of looking at it. And basic swamp. Folks, don't get stuck in the weeds. Hang out with me here on the morning show. I got another interesting article for you folks today. I do want to look at it here this morning. Good morning, Johan Matuzzi, fans of Magic the Gathering, friends of mine who love this game as much as we do. Thanks for keeping the comments coming and sharing your thoughts and opinions here on the morning show. This is the show where I get to discuss Magic, stocks, talks, what's going on in the world of finance. Here's one for you. Speaking of finance, I'm just going to go back to Twitter for a second before we get into our next article. Okay, let's go. And the next article is good because it's called "Busted Card Appears in 88% of Top Pro Tour Decks." What card is it that saw itself in 7 out of 8 decks in the Pro Tour top 8 run of Magic the Gathering? What card is it? Let me know in the comment section below. But I want to just talk about currency. Okay? Because we talk about currency and we talk about finance and we talk about dollars and we talk about the greenback and we talk about Canadian pesos and in countries around the world. But let's just take a look at this stuff that comes along my Twitter feed yesterday. Now, there's a lot of news going on in Pakistan right now, and if you have no idea what's going on out there, the folks over there are that came across my desk. The folks over there can't get Twitter right now because it's been down. YouTube is down over there. And so and Facebook. You can't get on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter in Pakistan right now. You're not allowed to have it. You're not allowed to do it. And on the morning show, when we talk money, we talk finance, we talk magic cards, we talk about fun and value and getting that into your collection. I just want to touch on this before we bring you one more news article. Canada is launching CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency Consultation, to look at positive potentials versus cash. Okay, so another conspiracy theory making its way into the world where people said, this was something that's like a fugazi, it's nothing to worry about. But for all of you folks in Canada who talk stocks and talk investing and talk about buying stocks with your TFSA and where to put your money in the Canadian banks. Now, Canadian banks are a little more highly regulated than they are down in the States. Now, Canadian banks have to have insurance, where there's a few more rules up here in Canada as to what banks have to have. But let's face it, the money all in the world comes from roughly the same place. If you ask around, there's some of the major Federal Reserves in the United States. There's also some discussion in Canada about going to this consultation for central bank digital currencies. to look at positive potentials versus cash. Now, do your own research on this. But the Bank of Canada is launching a public consultation on a prospective central bank digital currency option or digital dollar. On Monday, the digital consultation period will end on June 19th. Participants will be able to voice their opinions on the attributes of Canadian digital currency versus the consultation via the consultation website. Although the central bank does not consider that retail CBDC is now required, Senior Deputy Governor Rogers stated, as Canada's central bank, we want to make sure everyone can always take part in our country's economy. That means ready for whatever the future holds. So if you remember a couple of years ago, there was some interesting interest about people actually who were outspoken and maybe have given money to certain agencies. They actually had their bank accounts seized by the Canadian banks under direction of the finance minister in Canada. Now, this makes a little spooky for folks investing in Canada. What person is going to come to Canada and invest money here when they know that the banks can just seize it on direction of the finance minister? I think they're fooling themselves here. I don't think it's a step in the right direction. I think there's going to be more outspoken. But the point about this consultation phase is just, this is how they do things up here, is they put it out to a consultation. And then they can say that the feedback is independent and non-biased. And then they take the recommendation of the consultation fee and they put it into practice. So this is what's coming as we draw closer to the end of the month, where the United States is looking to raise the ceiling level on debt because we can't possibly finance any more credit in order to pay the national debt. Canada's got its own problems right now with the proposal of central bank digital currencies in a way that means that your money is not safe. If you ask me, magic cards seem to be a lot safer investment because at least they know where they are. That's like your cards on Arena becoming like, could you imagine if you could buy and sell cards on Arena, digital copies of NFTs of magic cards? So you like, instead of like, could you imagine if you could trade, if there was a trading function in Arena and the cards had monetary value? So instead of buying the cards, so this is what central bank is going to do for you. You have to buy the cards directly from the wizards. You can't go trade them amongst your friends. So in digital currency, they'll be able to put the restrictions on it to say that would save Arena, in my opinion, if you could trade them. Well, that's what the comparison that I'm trying to make is, like, whoever controls the console, that would save Arena. Actually, if you could trade cards in between players on Arena, then that would allow people to create an economy and be able to trade cards back and forth. But the fact is, they've got it set up so that you can't trade with one another. You have to just buy the cards directly from the arena. And you can't tell me that central bank digital currencies may or may not be the same way, because they can restrict where you spend it. You can have only approved places where you can spend that currency. Just like, on Arena, they say you can't trade with one another, but you can buy more cards from us, only approved vendors. So this is what we're going through. What card was it? I want to know. What is the card that's busted? Here we go. Busted MTG. Last article for the day, and then we're going to head out for the day and get on with our morning. I want you to be informed and have some discussion here on the channel. Great time to be alive. What a time to be alive, as this busted MTG card appears in 88% of top Pro Tour decks. The March of the Machine Pro Tour saw 7 out of 8 MTG decks in the top 8 run the same Magic the Gathering card, Reckoner Bankbuster. Speaking of the banks and busting them out, this card here, the Reckoner Bankbuster, is making waves. Magic the March of the Machine Pro Tour wrapped up on the 7th, and there's many peculiar patterns among decks and the competition. Namely, 7 decks out of the top 8 ran the same Magic the Gathering card, Reckoner Bankbuster, busting the banks wide open. March of the Machine Pro Tour is competitive MTG tournament that took place in Minneapolis MagicCon between the 5th and 7th. The top prize was $50,000, which was awarded to the current MTG World Champion, Nathan Stewart. And what was a common theme among cards in this format? The Reckoner Bankbuster. Let's take a look at this 2-mana vehicle from Saviors of Kamigawa. Or is it not Saviors of Kamigawa? It's the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. This 4/4. What's busting the bank about this card here? Artifact vehicle 4/4. Bankbuster enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. Pay 2 and tap it. Remove a charge counter from Reckoner Bankbuster. Draw a card. Then if there are no charge counters on Bankbuster, create a treasure token and a 1/1 colorless pilot creature token with this creature crews vehicles as though its power were 2 greater. 3 to crew this. So it makes a pilot that is a little fancy pilot that can crew bigger things that could push above its weight. It also draws you cards, so it's a cantrip. It gets you through your deck. It makes a treasure when it's got no counters on it, and it's a 4/4 vehicle for 2 mana. First printed in Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the Reckoner Bankbuster, possibly one of the best Magic vehicles around right now. It's colorless, so it slots nicely into a wide range of decks. Plus, it's 2 mana 4/4 that generates card draw and a pilot token, so Bankbuster is a solid mid-range option since the 4 Rakdos mid-range decks made it into this Pro Tour top 8. We're not too surprised to see it. Rakdos was the MTG combination to beat at the Pro Tour, while the 4 mid-range decks accompanied by Rakdos Reanimator, remaining decks in the top 8 were Orzhov mid-range, 5-color Ramp, and Azorius Soldiers. Here are the decks that ran Reckoner Bankbuster in the March of the Machine Pro Tour. We got, let's look at just the decks here. First place was Rakdos mid-range, and then Rakdos Reanimator, Orzhov mid-range, 5-color Ramp, and 5th, 6th, and 7th, all Rakdos mid-range. So if we look here, we've got 4 copies in the first place deck, 3 copies in the second place deck, 4 copies in the third place deck, 2 copies in the fourth place deck, and then a playset, 5 and 6, and 3 copies in the 5th, 6th, and 7th deck. So you can learn more about the Pro Tour's best decks on the Magic Play website. For more Magic news, keep an eye on the ever-changing MTG release schedule, or if you're an arena player, here's the latest on MTG. So, what do you folks think about this, the Bankbuster? Is this thing going the way of the central bank digital currency? Are you breaking the bank here with this card? What's it worth? That's hilarious. I was like an hour behind. Who the fuss are the Knutsons? You think the carpet pit... Richie Dubs, your comments are making me laugh. What are the Knutsons? Okay. I don't know, folks, but it's a good time. I want to take a look at this Bankbuster. Reckoner Bankbuster. How much is this worth? I reckon. Premiumbeat.com. Where are we here? Reckoner Bankbuster. Busted. I can't spell Reckoner. I reckon RECKONER. Reckoner Bankbuster Kamigawa Neon Dynasty. How much is you think? OMG. That is hilarious. Thanks for the I just got it because we're giving Big Lebowski references here. The Big Brobowski. How much is this card? $4.27. You can get the foil version for $13 in pre-release. Extended foil, $5. All right. I want to give a special shout out to all you folks here on the channel. Thanks for tuning in this morning. The dude abides. I hope your day gets a little bit better. Richie Dubs, thanks for joining me here this morning. I appreciate you. This aggression, man, it will not stand. Cops are at the door. Cops are at the door. It could be the Pinkertons here trying to stop the show from going on. I want to thank you folks for tuning in again on the morning show. This is Brody Alfonso. It's May 10th, 2023. Wherever you folks are, be safe out there. Take care of one another. Be safe, be free, and if you can't bring a friend to Magic the Gathering, bring a friend to Brody's. We always enjoy more thoughts, opinions, interesting conversation here on the morning show. You like tracking the prices of Magic cards? Let me do it for you. I'm doing it each and every morning, Monday through Friday here on the show. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Gotta go.